So this is my 50th video, and best laid plans go to waste, I guess. I wanted to sit here and kind of go through what my top five heroes were, and I also wanted to have my wife here, and she can kind of tell us what her top five videos were. The problem is that none of our kids wanted to cooperate. Bedtimes going 3 or 4 times longer than they should have, or they're finally falling asleep 3 or 4 hours after they should have. My youngest is fussing unless someone's holding him. So what I'm going to end up doing is my wife recorded some and I recorded some, and I'm going to have to just cut them. So not necessarily what I wanted to do, but it kind of gives everybody what we think are the better, or our favorite champion heroes.
My number 5 hero is Storm. I really enjoy her weather control. I like the different options. I like how many choices there are. I really like how the weather control plays into a lot of her personal cards too. And, I think she's a diverse character. What I mean by that, diverse character, like I'm talking about thwart and damage. I like how you can approach your campaign at a lot of different angles with her. So I guess a good word is adaptable. She's really adaptable to a lot of situations.
So for my number 5, I picked Vision. Personally, I know that Shadowcat is a lot like Vision, but I like the consistency that Vision gives me, where I just negate 2 damage every single time. I know to expect that. I don't have anything unexpected that's kind of swapping me back and forth. And when I play Vision, I generally play Justice, and it's something that I kind of just control the board state that way, while my wife, generally it's my wife I'm playing with, well, she's focusing more on the villains and the minions. But he does have some pretty powerful cards where he's able to wipe out the board if he needs to. Not board, but he can do some massive damage if he needs to. So Vision is my number 5.
My number 4 pick is Gambit. He, at the time of this video, is a new release. Not gonna lie, a big appeal right now is just kind of talking in his accent. Throw the card and charge the card. I'm not sure. Hopefully, most of you are familiar with like the 90s X-Men show. So that just I just hear his voice and then I like to imitate it. But again, I really like his character cards as well. I've been playing him mostly in Justice. If I have a complaint, it's well, my husband likes or has been setting me up. No, that's wrong too. He's been sorry, I'm trying to find the right words here. In recent games, it's been falling on me to thwart, and I've been playing Gambit a lot. Especially we were playing a tough scenario against Rhino in expert mode, and I was playing him in Justice, and I just haven't found the right combination. I guess what I'm trying to say. Okay, so my only difficulty, the trouble I'm experiencing with Gambit at the moment is how to optimize his thwarting. I've been playing him primarily in Justice, and it just has been working out. It could be the luck of the draw the cards. It could be the combination with whoever my husband or my daughter is playing when we're playing these joint games. But it's something I'm eager to look into further and explore. I think he is. It's a pleasurable experience playing Gambit.
So for number 4, I picked Iron Man. When I play games like D&D or I play video games, one of my favorite things to kind of have to do is start from scratch almost. You know, being imprisoned, and I now have to go and grab my gear again, and it's a puzzle you have to kind of solve. I get that the most with Iron Man, right? His hand size is 1. And as he starts to build up more, he's able to get more and more powerful. So for me, I get that the most with Iron Man. It's just something that I keep coming back to. I really enjoy that aspect of him. One card I really like for him is the repurposed. So that way you kind of drop back a little bit. You know, you lose that hand size, but then you get that boost, which is pretty nice. So Iron Man is my number 4.
So my number 3 is Ironheart. It's been a little while since I played her, and just, when I was thinking about this top 5, she came right to mind, and now I want to play her again. I really enjoy that she has these different versions. I think, it takes a little bit to set her up, but when you do get it going, when you are able to get to the different versions, I think she's a really powerful character, and I've really enjoyed playing her.
So for my number 3, and it's probably more of a recent development for me, it's Ant-Man. I really like the fact that he's got the 2 different hero forms that he can swap into, and it gives certain cards more of a I'm more likely to play certain cards. One card in particular I really like for Ant-Man is Moxie, where you give all of his stats +1, and then he's got there are other leadership cards like Go All Out, where you're dealing damage based off of how much after all of your stat lines. So you'd add your attack, your thwart, and your defense. And so Moxie and flipping over to his giant size, I mean, you could do turns for 12 easily. So I just really like Ant-Man, especially in leadership because of some of those cards. But again, you've also got a couple of cards like For Justice, where once you flip over, I think it's For Justice. Once you flip over, you're able to do 4 damage. I think it's for like 1. So that's pretty good as well. So again, Ant-Man's my number 3.
My number 2 is Spider-Ham. I love Spider-Man, Spider-Ham, I'm sorry, from the moment, Into the Spider-Verse came out. That was my first introduction to him. I've only really read, Spider-Man comics, not really going into these different versions of Spider-Man. But now I'm extremely interested again since Into the Spider-Verse movie. And I just think Spider-Ham is so silly. It's a really good laugh. And I think it's just kind of maybe even an unconscious reminder, because again, you're having to say certain things and you see like the graphics and the little sayings on them, but it's just, you're just chilled out playing, it's a relaxing and enjoyable experience. It's not, I think it helps take the tension off of whatever scenario you're in. I think he is great. I usually play him with an aggression deck, and I like the combination. Like I said, I really enjoy like his big hammer, tune counters. So you've seen from my top 5 so far. I really like the different phases. I like counters. I like these abilities with these various heroes. I think it adds a very unique dynamic overall. Definitely recommend Spider-Ham. If you haven't played him yet, just give it a try. You won't be disappointed. You'll enjoy the experience.
So my number 2 is pretty interesting because I don't think I've ever played this character on my channel yet, but it's Spider, or SPDR. I really like how that character has been built. where you put out these different upgrades, and then you can exhaust them, you get a bonus, or you can use them for a resource. That design I really like, and I think it's really funny that because of the low hand size, there are so many times where my turns tend to be longer than they would be than my wife's turns were. That's what I've recognized. And unfortunately, Spider's not really one I've played a lot lately. I've been focused on some other the characters, but I just remember that sometimes with Spider, I'll have 10 hand size almost after doing certain things. So I've always thought that's pretty cool. So Spider and Justice is my number 2.
My number 1, which should come to no surprise to anyone who's watched enough of my husband's videos, it's Doctor Strange. He's my favorite comic book superhero. I really just enjoy Doctor Strange overall. So, of course, he was one of the first kind of added character packs that we bought. And it took me a little bit to really learn him and how to utilize him. But I think he's a really powerful character. I know some people would say, he's OP, overpowered, which maybe, I mean, you're going to set up your characters to be as powerful as they can, So I think with a good deck, whatever character you're playing is going to be pretty overpowered, especially if you have all of or most of the cards and sets out to date, because there's a lot of mixing and matching you can do with the different cards. There's some powerful cards that didn't come with maybe the set your hero was in or the phase they were in, but it came under somebody else. For example, the latest set or run, like the mutants. But back to Doctor Strange. I think he's a very versatile character. I usually play him in protection, but I think his cards let him do a significant amount of damage in addition to thwarting. I really like that. When I play, I like to have my choices. I like to still be able to do damage, because even if you're the designated person who's doing damage or the designated person doing thwart, chances are you're going to come into a scenario where, you're supposed to be thwarting, but you really need to help out with the damage if you can. I find that, especially in our games, and I talk to my husband about it a lot, is sometimes we just get stuck on, all these minions have come into play and all these side schemes, and we're focusing so much on that we're not actually doing damage to the main villain, and the game's just dragging out, and we're setting ourselves up for failure in most cases. That's how I feel about that. Tangents. Again, Doctor Strange, I like his upgrades and his support. I really like Wong. I like how you can do a couple things with Wong, especially the heal. I really like that. I know it's just +1, but it really comes in handy. And then, of course, the invocation deck, that is very powerful too, and it's a really good tool. And that's something I've been kind of tweaking is using that and kind of just burning through that deck faster, and just the deck, his deck I build in general. So that's my top 5.
All right, and my number 1 character, the character I love to play the most. A lot of times I'll play a new character, and this is the character that I wish I was playing in most cases, and that character is Cyclops. I really like the way that the tactics work. For me, I know I will, especially when I'm in Alter Ego, I kind of use them more as a resource that I can just go through my deck and find. And the only time it's ever bitten me, it's been a negative effect, is when I'm heavy on the tactics in the beginning, because I kind of need them towards the back end so I can use the Opic Blast. But I just think that the Cyclops in general he's way more fun than I expected him to be, mainly because like my Hawkeye is my favorite Marvel character, and I was a little disappointed with his character design, but and I figured that was going to be the same kind of situation with Cyclops, but I feel like I was wrong. I feel like I really enjoy Cyclops. After Storm came out and she had the Mighty X-Men, I think that's the name of the card, and you're able to make all of your X-Men allies one cheaper. It's just such an amazing card, especially with, you know, you've got Angel and you've got Colossus, where you're able to reduce their cost almost down to, you know, for Colossus is 2, for Angel it's 1. Like, that's insane. And then it's just really fun to be able to just constantly throw out minions. And again, it's fun to play situations like that against Project Wide Awake, where, oh, I can't jump block, because if I do, now I've lost that character and I'm one step closer to the end. But yeah, Cyclops and leadership is probably my number one. And leadership is my number one. Yeah. So those were our top 5 favorite heroes. And what I want to know is, what are your top 5? And more importantly, I'd like to know, why are they your top 5? Are they your top 5 because you feel like they're the most strongest? Do you think they're the most powerful characters? Do you like how they feel thematically? Do you like them just because they're your favorite Marvel characters? I think all of those kind of things fall in for us. But yeah, I think that's more important to know, not just what your top 5 are, but why are they your top 5? If it's one of those kinds of things. One thing I do want to start, I wanted to kind of point everyone to, right now I'm doing a survey. I did one last week about what team should I do a series of videos on. So right now, the one that won was the Web Warriors. So it's going to be on Web Warriors. Hopefully it'll be in 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm going to have another survey up to ask, which one should I start off with? Which ones is everyone more excited about? So please make your voices heard. Cast a vote for whatever one you want. I might lump Spider-Man and Spider together, because I think the other 3 or 4 I don't actually think I've ever played. So yeah, so that will be exciting, and I might, depending on how editing goes, I might actually be able to push that out for just a whole week, so it'll be Spider Week. But I guess you'll have to let me know. And lastly, where I want to leave this video off is this is my 50th video, and I've been doing this for about 6 months, and I don't think I would be able to have done it without all of your support. And I just want to thank you all. Hopefully this is the kind of stuff that you guys want to see. I know I'm doing something a little differently than I normally do. And if you want to leave a comment to let me know what exactly the things are that you like, I would, I'd be more than happy to do more of those kinds of things. But I do love doing the live plays, and, any way I can, not live plays, but any of the recordings, because I love adding the effects. That's something I find to be really fun. But if you like to see me do more live, let me know. I guess I could accommodate that as well. But again, thank you all for your support, especially in the last couple of months. February was a real killer, and I don't know if I'd be able to do it without all of your support. So thank you again, and until the next video, talk to you later.